Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün Kanada'nın en ekonomik üniversitelerinden Northern Lights College'da Eğitim ve Kanada'da Kariyeri Scott'tan dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı questions kısmından sormayı unutmayın. Yes, Scott, the stage is yours now.
Thank you so much, Zeynep, and thank you to the IEFT Talks team. It's a real pleasure to be here. Good evening to everybody in Turkey. It's morning here in sunny British Columbia, Canada. My name is Scott Clerk. I am the Director of International Education at a college in Western Canada by the name of Northern Lights College. And we're going to spend some time today for you to learn about the opportunity to study and work here in Canada and perhaps start a new life here. And thank you to everybody that is saying hello, Haysna and Aistin and Julia, Feza. Hello to all of you. What we're going to do is I'm going to make a presentation, provide some information to you, and then we will enter into a question and answer period. So feel free to leave your questions in the chat throughout the talk. And I look forward to interacting with you in a moment. But even before I begin my presentation, I just want to share a short 2-minute video about 2 of our students that came from different countries around the world to come and study here in Canada with us. And they share a bit about their experience here. So just give me a moment as I set this up. Here we go. This should work.
Taking the risk to come to Canada is something that is totally worth it. It's worth it because it's a country that is opening the doors for international persons. It's giving opportunities, and it's a country that is always gonna recognize the respect for the other. My name is Carolina Arango, and I am from Colombia. I came to Dawson Creek in 2018.
I'm Myrene de la Peña Tesico. I came from the Philippines. I arrived here last September 2019. So I've been here for 6 months. And as for my experience, I'm really happy, very gratefully happy. And I still can't believe that I'm here in Canada.
I love this college. I love my instructors. They are always willing to listen, to respond to your doubts, and to help you, to provide you all the information that can help you make the learning process easier.
So since I came here, I think the best part is the people. The people in here were so friendly, they're so accommodating, and they helped me to become a better person.
It's something different. It's a city that offers you a connection with the nature. And it's beautiful. There's lakes, there's these sunsets and sunrises that are magical.
I think they better choose Northern Lights College. Not only because it's affordable, but also the people in here, the instructor, the staff, they're willing to help you with all your needs. Not only specifically in your studies, but also in your personal lives. I think if I'm not here in Northern Lights College, I will not be who I am today.
It's amazing, and we never imagined it was gonna be like that. So it surprised us, but in a good way.
Okay, wonderful. You know, I don't think anybody can do a better job of telling the story of Northern Lights College than our students. You know, Myrene and Carolina, I've known for a few years now. They're two great success stories. Both of them are actually graduating this spring. And I know Carolina, who's participated with some of our international engagement activities, was happy to share that now that she's graduating, she's actually gotten a permanent job in one of the local community agencies so that she'll be able to use the diploma that she studied to build a career here. So that just gives you a sense of some of the opportunity here in Northern Lights College. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my slides and share a wide array of information so that you understand a little bit more about the opportunity for you here in Canada with Northern Lights. So as I already mentioned, my name is Scott Clark. I'm the person responsible for all of the international operations of the college. And, you know, in terms of NLC, Northern Lights College, you know, we really are a real option for you in Canada. If you are looking for a college education with minimal study and living costs, but with maximum opportunities to prepare for a career in Canada, work while you study, and then also get on a path to building a life in Canada, then we're really a great option for you. You know, we offer the world-class education that's guaranteed by the British Columbia public education system. We offer great opportunities to work here in Northern BC, but we also offer that safety and security and tranquility of living in a small city in Northern Canada. So let me tell you a little bit about who we are, right? Because, you know, the idea of a college is different in different countries, right? In Canada, a college has a specific meaning. We are a public institution. We are part of the British Columbia higher education system. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. In terms of the programs that we offer 2-year diplomas and 1-year certificates in applied learning. Many of our programs are academic and some are vocational, but all of them have that applied learning approach because they're designed to prepare students for the Canadian job market. And then of course, because we are a public institution in Canada, all of our programs, every single one is suitable for a PGWP or a postgraduate work permit. That's where a student can study a 2-year diploma in Canada, and then upon graduation, anywhere in Canada. Hello? I think I got cut off. My internet connection must have gotten cut off. Can you just confirm that you can hear me, Zainab? Ahmed, thank you. It sounds like yes, you can hear me.
Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you, Scott.
Okay, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen then and continue the presentation. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, and hopefully you heard what I was saying, all of our programs are available for that postgraduate work permit. So another key question is, where are we, right? Canada is a huge country, and it has 10 provinces. You likely know its major cities like Toronto or Vancouver. You've likely never heard of the small cities where we are located. We're located in 2 small cities in northern British Columbia by the name of Fort St. John and Dawson Creek. But we're only a simple 1.5-hour flight away from Vancouver. So you can fly straight from Turkey to Canada and fly directly to our campuses. So you saw a little bit of our communities in the video. This is a picture of Dawson Creek. This is where I live. I'm talking to you from my home here in Dawson Creek, BC. It's a beautiful small town, but with great living opportunities. Both Dawson Creek and Fort St. John have their own commercial airport, their own hospital, a commercial mall, multiple schools, all of the social and health services that you need. They have event centers, cultural centers, sporting arenas and sports spaces, public parks, everything that you need to have a comfortable life, even though they are, the communities themselves are small with a population of about 20,000. Okay, so that's a picture of Dawson Creek, and then Fort St. John is the second community that we operate in. So let me talk a little bit about the Northern Lights Advantage. So many of you likely have participated in many of these IEFT talks or have explored other options in Canada, and there are many of them. You can choose from more than 100 institutions, colleges or polytechnics in 10 provinces, and they all have a similar quality. You know, one of the great things about the Canadian education system is that there are not great distances of quality between large institutions and small institutions. Large institutions tend to take the advantage in specialization or at the university level in research capacity. But in terms of the classroom experience and that quality, it is comparable. And then of course, any of the public colleges across Canada all have that same postgrad work permit advantage. So why would you choose us over any of the others? Let me give you a few reasons. One is our lower cost. You know, the cost of our tuition is just under $11,000 per year. In a college, a public college in Toronto or Vancouver, you're probably paying about 18,000 or 19,000 Canadian for the very same diploma. If you're getting, for example, a business diploma. It would have very similar content. When you go into the job market, it would have approximately the same value, but the cost is significantly lower. Again, because we are in a smaller part of Canada, a more remote part of Canada. Another reason to choose NLC are the work opportunities here in the north of British Columbia. Okay, so in the north of British Columbia, we have a variety of natural resources that are in underdevelopment, and it creates a very strong labor demand. I'll talk about that in a moment. Also, quality and cost of living. Again, I'll share some information about cost of living, but there's a certain quality of life when you can, live somewhere, walk to your place of study. Maybe you have a part-time job and you walk across the street 5-10 minutes to get there. It's a very kind of a simple, quiet lifestyle that is attractive to some, but not all. I know that there's certainly people that are going to want the busyness and the diversity and the hubbub of a big city. I get that. I'm originally from the Toronto area, but there's also a real quality of life up here in northern BC. And then the last one is personalized service. I'm the director of the office. Often when you see these talks, especially from bigger institutions, it's never the head of the international office that is making this talk. It's somebody who's paid as a recruiter. And you get the chance to hear from me. If you're making an application, there's an opportunity to communicate with me directly. And we like to think that as a smaller college, we're able to give that more personalized service. And I think you heard that message as well from our students, Myrene and Carolina. So I mentioned that I would talk about the job opportunities up here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this slide, but what the graphic that you're looking at is the labor demand over the next 10 years here in our part of British Columbia, which is northeastern British Columbia. And you can see that in a variety of areas of work, whether it's in transportation, in management, in retail, in healthcare, education, finance, agriculture, all of these areas are going to require more workers. We have a very dynamic local economy, as I mentioned. This is a major area for production of natural gas, also forestry, hydroelectric power, and some mining. And because of that, because of the small population, these towns, Dawson Creek and Fort St. John, they're always having to import, so to speak, bring people up from the southern parts of Canada to work here. And so the people that do arrive here tend to find good working opportunities. And I know that for the students that come from around the world to study at Northern Lights College, that is a key feature when they select us. You know, another thing working in our favor is that British Columbia has the highest minimum wage in Canada, right? So if you're thinking about costs of study and you might be comparing us to some of the other smaller colleges in other places of Canada, that might even be less expensive than $11,000 a year. But then you want to think about, well, I'm probably going to have a part-time job, and how much money am I going to earn when I'm on that part-time job? And think about how much lower the wages would be in some of those parts of Canada. So when you take it all into consideration, you see that advantage that Northern Lights offers. Again, speaking to our advantages, the cost of living in this part of Canada is significantly lower. In fact, the cost of renting an apartment or a house here is about half the cost of what it would be to rent the same apartment in Toronto or in Vancouver, which are the two most expensive places to live in Canada. I know the graphic that I'm showing you is hard to read, but you'll notice that in the northeast of British Columbia, there is a little green circle. And what that's saying is that that part of British Columbia is one of the lowest cost places to live in all of Canada. Okay. And then speaking of places to live, you can live on our campus. It's very reasonably priced. It's very comfortable and safe, of course. You get to live with students from around the world, but also with students from here in Dawson Creek, Fort St. John, and from other parts of British Columbia. And then, of course, you can just walk across the parking lot into your classes. So I talked a little bit about earlier the public education system in British Columbia. It is a very integrated system. And what I'm trying to say there is that a program at Northern Lights College has the ability to then transfer through to all of the public universities in British Columbia, including one of the best ranked in the world, which is UBC, the University of British Columbia, but also other universities across the province. Now, so that means if your long-term vision was, okay, I'm going to start in a college, I'm going to study a couple of years, and then eventually at some point I want to transfer to a university, that is very much possible here through Northern Lights. And in fact, if we're talking about very practicalities, you're talking about if you're looking to get a 4-year bachelor degree, and you're looking at the cost of doing that in Canada, and you're saying, wow, I don't know if I want to pay $20,000 or in some cases $30,000 or $40,000 a year to get a bachelor degree. You could potentially start and do a 2-year program at Northern Lights College, and then eventually transfer to a university to finish your years 3 and 4 of a bachelor degree. And then let me talk a little bit about some of the programs that we offer and what those mean, because in each country in the world, there's different types of university and college programs. You know, a bachelor degree is fairly universal, but the idea of a college diploma in Canada doesn't always have an equivalent in every country, right? So we have diplomas, which are 2-year programs. We have something that is called an associate degree. It is also a 2-year program, and it is very specifically designed as the first 2 years of a university program. And then on top of that, we also have something called post-degree diplomas. So these are graduate level programs, but these are not equivalent to a master's degree. However, they're kind of not equivalent to a master's degree. They're actually meant to be complementary to your studies. So it's meant for you to build on the topic or area of your bachelor's degree, but not continuing in that same academic line. It's actually meant to complement it with another skill. And I'll talk a little bit more about those post-degree diplomas in a moment. So now I'm going to spend maybe 5 minutes talking about the programs that we offer. Okay. One of our largest and most successful and popular set of programs is in business, right? So we offer 3 diplomas at the undergraduate level in business. We have a business management diploma, we have an accounting diploma, and we have something called an executive assistant diploma, which would prepare you to work as an executive assistant to an executive, right? So these are the people that support presidents and vice presidents in companies and organizations. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we have post-degree diplomas. We have 3 of them in the business area. One of them is a general business management. So let's say you had a university undergraduate degree, a bachelor degree in engineering. You could then come and take a business management post-degree diploma, and then you'd be able to go into the labor market and say, well, I've got my engineering background, but I also have that business background too. And that can actually be very attractive in the Canadian job market. The second one is in health administration. So this is actually designed for people that in their home country were trained in the health professions. That could be public health, that could be nursing. We've even had dentists and doctors apply to that program. But what that program is it trains you in the administration of health systems here in Canada as a complement to your training. And then the third one is a post-degree diploma in information technology. This one is specifically designed for people that have a bachelor's degree, a university degree already in computer science, information technology, or software engineering. And it is a combination of IT and also business management, okay? The second group of programs that I'd like to focus on is what I would call the service professions. So we have a social service worker program, which is a very popular program, and it prepares you to work in social and community services. And it includes practicum professional placement. So one of the great things about that program is that when you graduate, you've had some professional experience that you can then go out into the workforce in. I think I mentioned earlier our student Carolina, who you heard from. She was studying that particular program. She had a professional practicum placement with a local community agency, and now has leveraged that into a full-time job upon graduation. We also offer a criminology diploma, which opens the doors to work opportunities in working with young people to avoid them getting into trouble, let's say, working in the public safety system. It can open doors to work in the public sector as well. The third is the Early Childhood Education and Care Diploma. Again, a very popular program. This prepares you to work as a teacher of young children ages 0 to 6. So this is preschool level, and it actually allows you to become a registered professional early childhood educator in the province of British Columbia. And then the last one I want to mention is land and water resources. This is our environmental program. So if you have any interest in working in an environmental area in Canada, it's a great program. And I must say it is very much aligned with the local economy here. There's great work opportunities related to land and water because so much of the economy up here in Northern Canada is related to the natural resources. And then the last group of programs that I specifically want to highlight are our trades and technology programs. So we have an aircraft maintenance diploma, the 2-year program, and it prepares you for work in the aviation industry in Canada as a technician. It's a great program. It really leads nicely into the job market. The picture you're looking at there is our hangar. So that's on our campus. We have a large hangar, a large building full of planes and helicopters that the students train on, and they become experts on specific types of engines. So it's a very, very attractive program. The second one here is our wind turbine technician program. This is a new program for us. We have a very small number of seats available for this program, but it is a 1.5-year program, and one of the really attractive parts of this program, other than the fact that you become a wind turbine technician, which is a very, very specialized field, is that you get there's actually a paid co-op position for 8 weeks during the summer as part of the program. The third program I want to highlight is our Cosmetology Diploma. So this is a 2-year program that prepares you to work in the fields, the cosmetology field. So hairstylist and esthetician. While around the world, those types of positions are perhaps not highly paid, in Canada, you'd be surprised how a lot of the manual trades pay well. And so there are people that run their own hair salons or estheticians that make a good living. So that's also a really practical program for the labor market here in Canada. And that, along with the second program I want to mention here, which is our Culinary Arts Certificate. It's only 1 year, but it does prepare you to be able to go into restaurants and hotels here in British Columbia and get hired as a professional cook. So in that sense, it's a very, very practical course. And both the Cosmetology Diploma and the Culinary Arts program actually have a slightly lower English language requirement for entry. They require what we call an IELTS 5.5, unlike almost all of our other programs. So speaking of IELTS, this is a rather large graphic, and I want to mention that in the chat, up towards the top of the chat, I had actually left a link to our brochure. And this screen that you're seeing is actually just a page out of our brochure, and it lists our programs, it lists the IELTS score that you require, it lists the first year tuition, so you can see, for example, that most of our programs, the first year tuition is $10,700. It lists the duration of the program. It also mentions which campus it's on. So like I mentioned, we have 2 campuses, Dawson Creek and Fort St. John. In case you were wondering how far apart they are, it's about a 1-hour drive. It's a very beautiful drive through the countryside. You pass over the beautiful Peace River, one of the biggest rivers out here in Western Canada. Some programs are offered on both campuses, but some programs are only offered on one or the other. And ultimately, I know a lot of students often ask me, what's the difference? The differences are not that big. They're fairly similar, the 2 communities. Okay. And then you can also see the intakes. So that means it tells you when you can start the program. So for example, I think all of our business programs, you can start fairly regularly. You know, all of those post-degree diplomas that I mentioned, you can start that in September or January or May, right? But other programs like early childhood education, you can only start every September. So it's only one intake per year, okay? And then others like land and water, which is a great program for somebody that has a background in anything in environmental science or sciences or engineering. It's an excellent program. That's offered every 2 years. The good news is that it's going to be offered next year. So like, I mean, right now, we're mostly looking at people applying for 2022 in mind. All right, so you could come in May of 2022 and start that land and water resources program. Okay. And let me just share the next page as well. Okay. So you heard me mention many of those programs. The last program I want to mention, and I did not mention, is our English upgrading program. So if you do not have the necessary English language level to enter directly into our programs, it is possible for many of our programs, but not all, to enter through what we call an English pathway. So you'd be offered entry into the program conditional on taking our ESL program. So you'd come here, and depending on your need, depending on your own personal level of English, maybe you need 1 semester, but maybe you need 2, possibly, conceivably even 3, although I would recommend that you try and keep it to just 1. Because that does really increase the cost of your study. But it is an option available to you as well. And then in terms of how to apply, we are currently accepting applications for September of 2021, although I will tell you now that almost all of our programs are full for September 2021. There's much more space available for January of 2022. And then on June 1st, so just 2 months from now, we will open up applications for May of 2022. And that's where a number of programs will become available, including that land and water program. The social service worker program opens in May. So if January or September is not your plan, soon enough you'll be able to apply for 2022. And then I know, of course, this pandemic has everybody absolutely turned upside down. We have been teaching online since March of last year in all of our academic programs. Our trades and vocational programs are still in the classroom. So for example, that culinary program, the aviation aircraft maintenance program, those are still on campus. But the business program, the social service worker program, those are online. But that said, our plan is to return to full classroom teaching for September. So by the time that you would arrive at Northern Lights College, whether it's September or January or later in the future, we would be back to teaching all of our programs in the classroom. So if you're interested in applying, we are actually going to waive the cost of the $100 application for participants from IEFT. And it's a very simple process. You fill in an application form, you present the transcripts of your education translated to English. Usually you're presenting your transcripts from your high school education. However, if you are applying for a post-degree diploma, you actually send us only your university results, okay? And we never need both. We never need both high school and university. So it's going to be high school for most programs, and then university transcripts for the post-degree diplomas. And then the third one, and this for international students tends to be the big challenge, is the English results, right? So most of our programs require a 6.0 IELTS. There's a couple of exceptions. Or 110 in the Duolingo English test. or a 78 in the TOEFL IBT test. So you send those results, and then the fourth thing that you send is just a scan of your photo and generic information page on your passport. You send that all in to us by email, and then in a few weeks, if you meet all the criteria, you'd receive an offer. Okay, and it hasn't cost you anything yet. And then once you have the offer, then you have to make a decision. And when you make that decision, what's required is a deposit of 6,000 Canadian dollars, and that's meant to cover your first semester, right? So that's not an additional 6,000 on top of your tuition. That is going towards the tuition that you have to pay, okay? And with that, you get a letter of acceptance, and then you go to the Canadian government's website or the embassy in Turkey, you apply for a study permit, and then you arrive, and we welcome you here, and you start your program. So the last thing that I wanted to mention, I didn't put it up on the screen, but we're really keen to engage further into Turkey and to welcome Turkish students here in northern BC. So we've actually set aside a small number of small scholarships for the first Turkish students to come from the IEFT fair to come and study with us. So I have 3 scholarships available, each with $1,000 value. For the first students that are able to apply and study with us here in Canada. So I hope to be able to share that scholarship with one of you, not today, but when you arrive here in Canada. And with that, I'll leave you with our website, our contact information. And one other thing that I should mention is that we are going to be, we're in the process of developing some Turkish language resources so that you're able to learn more about Northern Lights in your own language. And we will be sharing that eventually with everybody that participated today. Okay? So with that, I'm going to stop my presentation. I think throughout I heard questions popping up. I didn't get to see them, but I heard them popping up in the questions section. So we're going to try and handle some of your questions. And I'm just going to do them in order, okay? Setane asks, how about the living expenses in British Columbia? Is it more affordable than Toronto? Yes, as a matter of fact, it is significantly less expensive here in northern British Columbia than living in Toronto. As I mentioned in the presentation, renting an apartment in Toronto would cost about double what you would pay here in Northeast BC. I might get these pronunciations wrong. I apologize. So Cheval asks, does your school have a psychology department? We actually don't have a psychology department. We don't have a psychology department, but we do offer some psychology courses, and then we do have a program called the Associate of Arts. It's a 2-year associate degree at the undergrad level, where you can have a concentration in psychology, and that's actually useful for you to then transfer on to a university if you wanted to do a full bachelor degree in psychology. Okay, we have another question from Setane about, is it possible to start our education online and continue at the campus later on? Also, are we able to get a work permit with this way as well? Thank you. So that is possible when COVID is causing us to teach online. So the students that started in the winter and the fall of last year online can then go on to the campus and then get a work permit, and it doesn't impact their ability to get a work permit at all. However, once we return to classroom teaching, then that will no longer be an option. You'd have to come in September. The plan is for the programs to be in the classroom, and certainly next year. So by the time you're actually getting here as a student, likely that online option is no longer available because the classes are no longer online. So Bulut is asking which programs are the most advantageous for transferring to a university. So if you're looking for transfer to university, the best ones would be the associate degrees. So the Associate of Arts or the Associate of Science. We also have some like very specific opportunities. We have our social work program has a pathway agreement with the University of Northern British Columbia, and that allows for the student to do the 2-year social service work diploma and then continue to do years 3 and 4 and get a Bachelor of Social Work. So that's a very specific option. Another specific option I can tell you about is we're working on a diploma to degree pathway for business, so that you would do 2 years and get a business diploma with Northern Lights College, and then you would go on to Yukon University and complete 2 years there and get a full bachelor degree in commerce. Phasia is asking how many credits we take per semester. Typically, a typical full course load in the fall or the winter semester is 5 courses. So that's typically 15 credits, okay? The minimum course load for you to be a full-time student and maintain your study permit would be 3 courses, which would be 9 credits. And then Bulut had that follow-up question, can we transfer all our credits to university? If you do an associate degree, yes. If you do some of the other ones that I mentioned, like the social service worker to UNBC or the business diploma to the Yukon University, also yes. Those associate degrees are very much designed for bulk transfer of your credits to university. So Zatier, again, apologies if I am completely messing up these names. I'm going to just try my best here. He's asking, how about tuition fees at Northern Lights College? If you compare it with other Canadian colleges, is it more affordable? Absolutely. I mentioned it in the presentation. You know, our programs are around 11,000 Canadian, so 10,700 for most of them. Those same similar programs in colleges in near or around Vancouver or near and around Toronto would be around $16,000, $17,000, $18,000, $19,000. Also, of all the public colleges in British Columbia, Northern Lights College is the least expensive. So we are the most affordable college in all of British Columbia. Yes, that's a big advantage of studying with us. So one student is asking, does a 1-year certificate program include co-op? We don't have any. We don't have any certificate programs that have a co-op. However, and I'm not sure if this is what you meant, our students do work part-time while they study. So the vast majority, over 80% of our students get part-time jobs while they study, and they tend to work up to about 20 hours a week to help pay for the cost of living and the cost of study. For example, the professional cook, so the culinary arts program, it's a one-year certificate. There's great opportunities to work while you're studying that. And then once you finish the program, the opportunities to work as a cook locally here are even greater. So Amit is asking, I am hearing about certificate programs for the first time. Are they academic programs like an undergraduate or associate degree, or are they not being replaced? So very simply, a certificate is effectively a one-year program. So some of them are academic, right? We have a business certificate. It's a fully academic program. All of those courses are transferable to a university. But we also have some more vocational or applied certificates, again, like the culinary arts certificate. Another example, we have a healthcare assistant program that is also just 8 months or one academic year. And the certificate is the credential. So it is a credential. If you were to do a certificate with Northern Lights College, you would graduate, you would go to graduation, you would receive, the parchment, as we call it, that you would put in a frame and you could hang it on your wall, the way I have my 2 degrees hanging on my wall. So it is a credential. Okay, I think I just made it through all of the questions. I'm just going to check in the chat to see if there was anything else.
Scott, I think there is one more question. It's new one. It's on the
Okay.
top.
Oh, it's near the top.
Yes, it's on the top.
Oh, I see it. Okay. So Kubra is asking, is the work permit allowed to students graduated from skilled programs, or is it easy the getting work permit with that kind of a degree, or none of the above? So the work permit for those skilled programs like culinary arts, you have the same right to work while you're studying as any other student. And when you graduate, you have the same right to get that postgraduate work permit. Okay, so there's no difference whether it's you do a 2-year vocational skilled program or a 2-year academic. It doesn't matter. You could do a 2-year master's degree and a 2-year diploma in aircraft maintenance, and you get the same work permit after you graduate. Okay, there's no difference. Now, it's important to remember that the 2-year programs provide a 3-year work permit, but the 1-year certificates only provide you a 1-year work permit. So there is a clear advantage to taking a 2-year program because it gives you not just 2 years then afterwards, it gives you an extra year. So it gives you a full 3 years after. Okay? Okay. I think then if there's no further questions, and I'm happy to answer your questions, whether it's about the college or how to apply. Hopefully everybody went into the chat and found our brochure. Hopefully everyone has written down our email address. If you are interested in studying with us, like I said, the application process is very simple. And you'd get an offer usually in just a couple of weeks without any additional cost to you because we'll waive the application fee. Okay? Okay, I believe that's it, Zeynep.
Yes, thank you very much for your answers, Scott. Also, could you please an email address on the chat box that the participants can directly contact?
Absolutely. So it's again, it's that same email address I'd mentioned. It's info@international. So that's monitored by two very nice ladies that work in my office by the name of Evelyn and Kazuko. And if you write me directly, say, "Hi, Scott," they will have that, they will send that email to me, but they can also answer your questions. If you're looking to get an application form or put together an application, they can help you with that as well. Okay?
Yes, thank you very much for your great presentation, Scott. We believe it was a really informative webinar for the attendees. Also, I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well.
Please do.
Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Northern Lights College ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için Scott'ın paylaşmış olduğu mail adresinden iletişime geçebilirsiniz. Chat'te yukarıdaki kısımlarda biraz da linkler paylaşmıştı. Onları da incelemeniz faydalı olacaktır. Yarınki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Thank you again, Scott. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
Thanks, Zeynep, and to everybody here. I really do look forward to hopefully welcoming some of you here in Northern BC one day and taking you perhaps skiing or winter camping or bowling, just like you saw in the video at the beginning with our students. Those were real scenes and real activities that we do with our international students here. So really would love to see some of you come and join us here at Northern Lights College. Thank you.
Fantastic. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good night.